Mary, I guess once, I start sharing, then I'll say just move on to slide two, and then I'll tell you about the future slides from there. And Christina, are you still on?
I am. Just note we are now live streaming.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm trying to see if we have any more board members who will be joining.
Oh, yeah.
They should be. I am going to
So
text them.
If you could get a tiny little, like a bowl.
Okay,
like
so I'll give it to be respectful of everyone's time, we'll start at 5:03,
That sounds good. Thank you.
if that's okay. You're welcome.
Jimmy, can you do me a favor? There's another bag in the front seat of my car, my book bag. Bring my iPad in.
Okay, we're going to get started. Can everyone hear me? Okay, thank you. Good
Yes.
afternoon, everyone. My name is Francoise Darristel Ledger, and I am the Vice Chair of the Hartford Board of Education, and I am also Chair of the Teaching and Learning Committee. And we are going to start this committee meeting. And today is October 1st, 2025. And what I will do is I'm going to see if Christina, are you able to pull up the agenda, or would I just turn it over? If you're able to come up.
You could just turn it over. It's only one item, an update on the Division of Academics.
Okay, thank you so much. And I will turn it over to Dr. Al Saki.
Thank you, and good evening. And good evening, esteemed members of the Board of Education, Teaching and Learning Committee, Dr. Townsell. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to give you an update and share a little bit about our Teaching and Learning Department. My name is Dr. Al Saki. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning. Our department's mission is deeply aligned with the overarching mission of our district, which is to ensure that every student is provided with the educational experiences, support, and resources necessary to achieve success, not only in school, but also in life beyond graduation. As Superintendent Dr. Townsell often reminds us, our work is a collective endeavor. We must continually challenge ourselves and each other to set the bar, meet the bar, exceed the bar, and ultimately raise the bar for what our students can achieve. Through this collaborative effort, we aim to foster a culture of excellence, innovation, and growth throughout our district, where all our students will graduate prepared to transform our world. So before we get started, I just wanted to introduce some of my team members who have joined me today. I'm joined by several dedicated members of our teaching and learning leadership team. Each individual brings a wealth of expertise and passion to their respective roles, ensuring our staff and students receive the highest quality education and professional learning at every stage. I'll start with Ms. Lori Minich. She serves as our Director of Early Childhood and Hartford Pre-K Magnet, where she leads initiatives to lay a strong educational foundation for our youngest learners. Mario Carullo, our Director of Elementary Education, oversees the academic growth and development of students in our elementary schools, focusing on building essential reading and math skills and fostering a love of learning. Tracy Avicoli serves as Director of Secondary Education, responsible for guiding curriculum and instruction at the middle and high school levels to ensure a seamless academic progression for all students. Joanna Robles is our Director of Services for Multilingual Learners, World and Dual Language Programs. She champions equity and access for students who are learning in more than one language, ensuring they excel both linguistically and academically. Supporting our directors, we have Amanda Kushner, Assistant Director for Elementary Education, and Vanessa Cruz, Assistant Director of Secondary Education. Their leadership and collaboration are vital to implementing our vision across schools. Together, this dynamic team is committed to upholding our district's mission and supporting our educators and students every step of the way. Next slide, please. So here's another overview and update. Sorry, the following slide, please. The primary objective of the Teaching and Learning Department is to partner with our schools to elevate student achievement in literacy and mathematics, while preparing students for on-time graduation and a success in post-secondary pursuits. Tonight, our directors will provide additional details about initiatives and progress in their respective areas. However, my purpose is to offer a broad overview of our department's current focus and direction. So at the pre-K level, our team emphasizes the critical importance of early childhood education. We provide ongoing professional learning opportunities for our pre-K educators, equipping them with the latest strategies to support our youngest students socially, emotionally, and academic growth. At the elementary level, we are dedicated to ensuring every child develops strong foundational skills in reading and mathematics. This foundation is essential for all future academic success, and our work centers on research-based instructional practices and targeted interventions. We proactively use student data to plan for productive struggle as students continue to learn and grow. At the middle school level, our focus shifts to delivering standards-aligned curricula and leveraging data-driven instruction. By closely monitoring student progress and adapting teaching strategies, we ensure every middle school student is on path to mastery. At the high school level, at this stage, we prioritize equitable grading practices, rigorous curricula aligned with state standards, and robust supports that prepare students for graduation and post-secondary opportunities, whether college, career, military, or beyond. For our multilingual learners, for students acquiring proficiency in English while maintaining their home language, we provide targeted supports to ensure academic excellence, inclusion, equity, and language acquisition, recognizing the unique strengths these learners bring to our community. This presentation is the beginning of a deeper conversation. Over the coming months, we will host focused presentations on specific topics, some of which will be touched upon tonight, that will provide opportunities for more in-depth exploration and discussion. Next slide, please. Thank you, Mario. Our department's goals are clear, focused, and directly aligned with our district's priorities and the needs of our students. In literacy, we are committed to increasing foundational reading skills and overall literacy achievement for all students. This includes systematic, standards-aligned, evidence-based instruction and early intervention to address learning gaps. In mathematics, another key priority is to raise math proficiency rates and foster greater student engagement in mathematics. Through innovative teaching methods and ongoing support, we aim to build students' confidence and competence in math. Graduation and post-secondary, excuse me. At the secondary level, we strive to increase graduation rates and ensure every graduate is fully prepared for the challenges and opportunities of post-secondary education, employment, or service. Next slide, please. All our work is intentionally and systematically aligned with the district's strategic plan, ensuring coherence and purpose across every initiative. For whole and healthy students, we believe that academic achievement is inextricably linked with students' mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Our department supports the development of the whole child, integrating socio-emotional learning and wellness into all aspects of education. Expansive learning opportunities. We are committed to providing students with enriching educational experiences. One example includes grade-level field trips to local theaters where performances are connected to their learning through the Wit and Wisdom ELA curriculum, deepening students' understanding and engagement. In terms of skilled and diverse teams, recognizing that our educators are our greatest assets, we provide continuous professional development throughout the year. These learning opportunities empower teachers to deliver high-quality, standard-based instruction and remain at the forefront of best practices. We use core action walks, so we regularly conduct core action walks in our schools, collaborating with school teams to provide actionable feedback and support for ongoing instructional improvement. As we move forward with this evening's presentation, our directors will share more about pre-K through 12 programs. Like I shared before, please note that tonight's presentation just serves as an overview. We look forward to delving into specific topics in greater detail at future committee meetings. At this time, I would like to invite Lori Minnick, Director of Pre-K, to share an update on our early childhood initiatives. She'll be followed by Mario Carrillo, Director of Elementary Education, and then Vanessa Cruz and Tracy Avicoli, who will provide insights into our middle and high school programs. Finally, Joanna Robles, our Director of Multilingual Services, will conclude our program updates. We will reserve time for questions at the end of the presentation. So if possible, obviously, if you have a present question, ask, but if possible, if you could leave the questions for the end of the presentation, we'll have some time to answer all questions. So thank you for your attention and continued partnerships as we work together to advance excellence in teaching and learning across our district. At this time, I'll now invite Lori Minnick. Lori.
Thank you, Dr. Saki, and thank you to the Board of Ed and our superintendent for allowing me the chance to really highlight some of the awesome things that are happening in preschool. So as Dr. Saki said, I am the Director of Early Childhood and Hartford Pre-K Magnet School. I've included my email address just in case if you had any need to contact me, you are able to do it. May I have the next slide, please? So when we look at what is happening in pre-K, our really big overarching goal is to get our little ones, every single preschooler, kindergarten ready. So with that in mind, we want to really standardize what should our pre-K experience look like in the Hartford Public Schools. So we want to be able to provide each and every student with that equitable access to a high quality, research-based curriculum delivered through center-based play experiences that offer engaging, cognitively challenging activities, all the while cultivating student joy in learning and ultimately ensuring that each and every child is socially, emotionally, and academically ready for kindergarten when they leave us. Next slide, please. So if we look, we have a core curriculum. It's called Pre-K on Our Way, and this is our second year that we are using it. We went through a very extensive process, looking at different pre-K curriculums, but we engaged all of our stakeholders, and we decided that Pre-K on My Way was going to be the one that best fit and support our students. So when we look at that core curriculum, there are 8 themes that encompass over a 4-week time span. Each theme focuses on those key skills that we want our students to have. So we employ concepts such as higher order questioning, read-alouds or storytelling, small group work, and students working in learning centers to really develop those foundational skills that they need in kindergarten and beyond in literacy and math, content knowledge, and curiosity about the world around them. Now you can see here are our themes right now, our 8 themes. Me and You, which is our first theme, so it's all about me, feelings, and family friends. So what is more perfect? Many of our little ones, this is our first experience out of the home. So this is where they jump right into that learning to learn, who am I? What kind of feelings do I have, whether they're big or small? How can I be a friend and my family? From there, we learn about our community. Let's investigate. Discover animals, that is always a favorite of our little ones. Healthy Me, Let's Create, Our Earth, and Ready, Set, Go is at the end of the year, where our pre-K 4s are going to transition to get ready to go into kindergarten, and our pre-K 3s will be rolling up into pre-K 4. Next slide, please. To complement that, part of our core curriculum is that we also use Foundations and Heggerty's. Both of these curriculums offer that explicit and systematic instruction. Foundations also has a multisensory piece. You might see our little ones going into, when you go into a classroom, they might be skywriting. How do we make a capital B? And we're really supporting our students' emergent understanding of the alphabetic principle. And we want to ensure that for foundations, they can recognize letters, they can name letters, they can make letter sound connections, and they know how to form letters in writing. Heggerty then focuses on our phonemic awareness. So we're building our skills such as rhyming, blending, and segmenting words. Next slide, please. Our math is embedded within our core curriculum of Pre-K on Our Way, and we really want to have children think of math as it's part of their everyday life. So they are doing math when they're in centers. They are doing math when they're reading storybooks. They're making those real world connections to math. So we want children to explore and understand unitizing, decomposing and composing, relating and organizing, looking for patterns and structures, and organizing information. Some of the skills that we focus on that kind of go along with what our report card skills are would be counting, spatial sense, and measurement. Next slide, please. So what is our action plan for this year? What are we really going to put into place to support not only our little ones' academic achievement, but also our pre-K staff's professional learning? So as I said, this is year 2 of our core curriculum implementation plan. So we want to make sure that Pre-K on My Way is taught with fidelity, and we want to maximize our student engagement. We want to, for our staff, we want to refine the instruction that's taking place with our little ones. So we want to provide sustained professional learning and targeted coaching to elevate teachers' instructional practices. To give you an example of what that looks like, we know we have first-year teachers and second-year teachers that are getting used to teaching this curriculum. So our coaching is focused upon them, giving them the support they need to be successful to implement this curriculum in the way that we want it implemented. Our veteran teachers, obviously, they're getting a differentiated type. They're our veterans. This is their second year. They're ready to take off running. We want to elevate our instructional quality for academic growth. So as I said, we want to see a shift in instructional practices. We want to implement professional learning and coaching to enhance teaching methods and overall improve our students' academic achievement. My pre-K team, which consists of myself, Stacy Umath, who is our lead teacher for early childhood, and Maria Sierra Hala, who is our coach, we have worked to develop a pre-K walkthrough tool. And we really developed this tool to support administrators. So as they go in to observe classrooms and excuse me, and to observe instructional practices, they will have a tool, a user-friendly tool that will allow them to look at, for instance, classroom environment. What are they seeing when they walk into the classroom environment? Is it ready to go? We also want to do some classroom monitoring. So my team is going to systematically visit every pre-K classroom to observe and document the quality of the learning environment and instructional execution. Right now, Stacy and Maria and I are in the process of completing our first walkthrough. Again, looking at the environment in each classroom. The environment really sets the stage for the learning. We want to make sure that our rooms are safe, they're organized, and that all the instructional materials that are there are readily accessible, not only to the teaching staff, but also to the students as well. And the last bullet point that we're going to focus on this year is our NIAC accreditation. So all of our pre-K classrooms are required to be NIAC accredited, and that renewal is every 5 years. So some of our classrooms, as of September 1 of 2026, they're going to be going through that process. So this is a year that we're really going to be working with our staff as they begin the renewal process. They're going to be needing new documents, updating documents that they may have submitted the last time. So those are kind of our 3 buckets of work that are going to drive pre-K this year. Next slide, please. And the last thing I want to talk about is how can we build those homeschool connections? Now, most of our schools, if not all of our schools, do outreach to parents, whether it's at open house or events that might bring parents in, parent workshops. We are constantly messaging our families. What are some of the ways that you can support your little one's learning in your home? So this is just an example of what we might share. For instance, read, read, read. We shout the message that reading to your child every day is just a wonderful, wonderful way of, number one, spending time with them, but also fostering a love of reading. Putting together simple puzzles. Thinking out loud and solving a problem with them as you go through the steps. Practice counting and sorting. I always say to parents, get your laundry basket out. Start putting all the white socks here, all the blue socks here. And again, have them help you set the dinner table. We need 4 forks. How many spoons? We want them to look for colors, shapes, and letters in an environment, maybe as they're driving to the grocery store. And fostering each child's creativity through drawing and cutting at home. Cutting is a very difficult skill for them, so the more practice they can get, the better they are. And with that, that concludes just a snapshot of what's happening in preschool for school year 25-26.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, good evening. I am Mario Krula. I'm the Director of Elementary Teaching and Learning. This is my 10th year in Hartford, and I'm the former Director of Mathematics, and I started in Hartford as the resident principal at Burns Latino Studies Academy. My counterpart, who's unable to join us this evening, is Amanda Kushner, and she is the Assistant Director of Elementary. Amanda has worked in Hartford Public Schools for 12 years, and she began her teaching at the Tonsas Early Reading Lab. She's worked on the literacy team for the last 7 years. This is our 2nd year working together to lead the elementary department of teaching and learning. Our department's priorities and strategies are fundamentally driven by a clear vision, which is that Hartford Public Schools students engage in copious, diverse learning experiences to discover their unique passions and to acquire this knowledge and skills necessary to pursue their passions with courage and excellence. In it, we are operationalized through these 4 core values. Our core values are non-negotiable criteria we use to filter and prioritize every major decision we make, from resource allocation to professional development for leaders and teachers. To ensure these values truly reflected our work on the ground, they were developed collaboratively with our instructional coaches and refined through thoughtful feedback from school leaders and teachers across the district. Collectively, these 4 values define our operational philosophy. They demand a courageous commitment to equity and access for all students. They require a relentless pursuit of instructional excellence and continuous growth. They ensure we lead with boundless passion and intentionality to empower students to discover their unique passions. And they remind us that all this hinges on building a healthy, connected community of belonging and trust. These values translate directly into action, which we will now see in our specific belief statements on the next slide. These statements show how our core values translate into the expectations we have for our classrooms, our professional practice, and our culture. They are actionable commitments. Our beliefs begin with high expectations for every student and every lesson. We believe every classroom has future artists, scientists, writers, mathematicians, musicians, athletes, and innovators who are entitled to effective curriculum-aligned instruction in all disciplines to discover their passions and unlock their unique potential. We believe all students can achieve grade-level competencies with access to grade-level curriculum and effective instruction delivered with relentless excellence. Our beliefs address our moral and instructional duty to dismantle barriers tying directly to courageous equity. We believe learning to read is a civil right. All students deserve our courageous and relentless commitment to implement effective structured literacy practices aligned to the science of reading. We believe teaching and learning has the power to disrupt inequities when we courageously confront uncomfortable truths, elevate marginalized voices, and dismantle barriers to success with resolute determination. Finally, we focus on the essential environment for success and the engine for continuous improvement. We believe effective instruction occurs in a joyful classroom community that intentionally engages all students in learning, embraces linguistic and cultural diversity, and fosters a sense of belonging for all students. And we believe changing student outcomes requires shared responsibility to continuously improve instructional practices through individualized, collaborative, and collective, purposeful professional learning as educators' expectations, skills, and passions drive achievement. The 25-26 elementary K-5 schedule prioritizes access to core Tier 1 curriculum, and it reflects our vision for elementary teaching and learning. Additionally, feedback from teachers and leaders was utilized to craft the final guidance. For example, in our schedule this year, there are increased opportunities for small group instruction. I want to highlight that we use high quality instructional materials, HQIM, in all content areas. For example, during foundational reading skills, we utilize Heggerty and Foundations, and we use Foundations readers and geodes as our connected texts. For reading comprehension and writing, we use Wit and Wisdom. For mathematics, we use Eureka Math Squared. In science, we use Elevate Science. All of these high quality instructional materials are reviewed by Ed Reports and are found to be aligned to the Common Core state standards. One of the benefits to using HQIM is the resources that are then available to families. For example, in math, the Eureka Math Squared Apply book includes practice partners that explain how students are learning the math in parent letters by topic that describe activities to do at home to support learning. These are available with each curriculum, whether that be Foundations, Wit and Wisdom, Eureka Math Squared, and even Elevate Science. So what this table here is showing is the amount of minutes that students are engaged in each of these content areas at the elementary level. In alignment to our strategic operating plan, focusing on whole and healthy elementary students, In alignment to our strategic operating plan, focusing on whole and healthy elementary students, leaders and teachers are focusing on 3 instructional priorities for students in K-5, which include monitoring and responding to learning across all content areas. This entails using assessment data and curriculum resources strategically across all content areas to monitor student learning and proactively plan scaffolds and supports that enable productive struggle with grade level content. Implementation integrity of our foundational reading skills. This entails implementing Foundations with fidelity while continuously monitoring and responding to student learning throughout instruction and providing opportunities for students to apply skills to connected texts. Our third priority is supporting striving readers. This entails using assessment data to facilitate targeted small group instruction that addresses individual student reading needs and accelerates progress toward grade level foundational reading skills. In grades 4 and 5, we implement Just Words with fidelity while continuously monitoring and responding to student learning throughout instruction. Living our core values of relentless excellence, we are continuously reflecting on our data and practices to enhance the elementary program. Here are a few priority-aligned strategies we are engaged in. Aligned to monitoring and responding to student learning, we've had professional learning on productive struggle and Wit and Wisdom workshops. There are 4 of them throughout the school year, as well as productive struggle and Eureka Math Squared. Our district literacy and math coaches provide on-site professional learning to 4 schools prioritized quarterly. We refocused our Hartford Performs contract to support knowledge building for reading comprehension through on-site and off-site arts integrated experiences. In K-3, we have science cycles of learning our K-5 art curriculum, and 4th and 5th grade social studies integration, which is an opt-in opportunity. Aligned with implementation integrity, we had Foundations launch professional learning for new K-3 teachers or teachers in need of initial training in ongoing Foundations professional learning this school year. Connected text was added to the daily schedule to explicitly provide opportunities for students to practice phonics and decodable text through Foundations readers and readable text through GDODES, utilizing the Hill for Literacy decodable text routine and fluency routine. We are monitoring and supporting the use of Foundations unit test data to develop Foundations reteaching lesson plans. Aligned with supporting striving readers, we have a partnership with the Connecticut Literacy Model to support implementing small group evidence-based intervention that supplements core instruction for students at risk for or experiencing reading difficulties in 10 of our schools. Literacy Lab was explicitly added to the schedule to provide and maximize opportunities for targeted small group instruction. And our elementary schedule guidance is inclusive of increased small group instruction opportunities for diverse learners. We've had Just Words review and refresh professional learning for grades 4 and 5. And that sums up some of our strategies this school year aligned to our priorities. With that, I am going to pass it to Vanessa and Tracy.
Thank you, Mario. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you all. My name is Vanessa Cruz. I'm the Assistant Director of Secondary Teaching and Learning. This is my 20th year in Hartford. I started as a student teacher at Buckley High School, teaching math, was immediately hired as a math teacher, where I started my career with Hartford Public Schools. Very grateful to be here. I'm going to speak a little bit about the middle school experience. Next slide, please. Thank you. We believe every middle school student deserves equitable access to rigorous curriculum, high-quality instruction, and the resources they need to thrive, regardless of their background or circumstances. We want our middle schoolers to thrive academically, and for this reason, we are focused on ensuring they have access to standards-aligned grade-level curricula across content areas, not just mathematics and English language arts. We want to cultivate their curiosity about themselves and the world through rich learning experiences, again, in all content areas, and to develop confident scholar identities grounded in perseverance and growth that will ultimately lead them to academic success. We are also committed to providing our teachers not only with these curricular materials and resources, but with the ongoing professional learning they need to ensure they also are equipped and confident to provide all our students with rich opportunities to learn every day. Next slide, please. This priority is named here under excellence. We did launch the TCI Social Studies curriculum. We're excited about that this year for grades 6, 7, and 8. They were engaging in professional learning with our specialists this afternoon. This provides our teachers and students with the materials and resources they did not previously have access to. Additionally, we are emphasizing the importance of leveraging our existing middle school Savvas Science curriculum. You will hear more about that in the upcoming slides. The priority named under equity speaks to our commitment to grow our middle school readers. The middle school win, What I Need block is a dedicated period within the school day designed to provide targeted, flexible support tailored to each student's academic and developmental needs. The purpose of the WIN block is to ensure that all students receive intervention, enrichment, or extension opportunities based on real-time data and individual learning goals. We are prioritizing support for our striving readers to ensure they develop strong comprehension skills that will support them with accessing grade-level text in all of the content areas: math, ELA, social studies, and science. Next slide, please. The TCI Social Studies curriculum that we are using for grades 6, 7, and 8 is designed to foster deep understanding through active student-centered learning. Grounded in inquiry and aligned to national standards, the curriculum spans world regional studies for our 6th and 7th graders and U.S. history for our 8th graders. Its core design emphasizes engagement through hands-on strategies, cooperative learning, and multimodal resources that support diverse learners. The big idea is that students learn best when they investigate compelling questions, analyze primary sources, and apply historical thinking skills in meaningful contexts. We would like the board, family, and community members to know that TCI prepares students not just to recall facts, but to think critically, collaborate effectively, and connect the past to present-day civic life. Next slide, please. Additionally, we are focused on supporting our science teachers with implementing the Savvis Elevate Science curriculum. This curriculum for our middle schoolers is a hands-on, inquiry-driven curriculum built around real-world phenomena and aligned to the next generation science standards, NGSS. Its design centers on three-dimensional learning, integrating different science practices, cross-cutting concepts, and core disciplinary ideas to help students think and act the way scientists and engineers do. Through interactive digital tools, lab kits, and supporting scaffolds, the curriculum supports diverse learners and promotes critical thinking, problem solving, and exploration. Again, we would like the board, family, and community members to know this curriculum prepares our students for future STEM opportunities by making science relevant, engaging, and accessible. Okay, last slide. Thank you. And finally, we know the necessity of ensuring our middle schoolers are reading at grade level, and we are prioritizing support for our striving readers during the WIN block, What I Need. Reading Plus is the platform that we've leveraged for the past several years. It's an evidence-based online reading program that personalizes practice for each student by starting with a short, adaptive assessment and then guiding students through lessons that build silent reading fluency, comprehension, vocabulary, and stamina. Teachers can view student progress daily, and Reading Plus provides the supporting lessons and tools for teachers to then implement during small group instruction. Additionally, students can do reading lessons at home to accelerate their own growth. We encourage families to help their students read at home, even if it starts with small 10, 20-minute bursts until they can reach 30 or 40 minutes, reading a novel or classroom just text from the curriculum so that they develop stamina and confidence and that they are more comfortable accessing the grade level text. I'm going to pass it on now to Tracy.
Okay, thank you, Vanessa. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having us. My name is Tracy Avicoli. I'm the Director of Secondary Teaching and Learning, and I am pleased to present some key initiatives that are driving our success in our high schools this year, specifically covering our focus on what we believe that every high school student deserves equitable access to rigorous curriculum, high quality instruction, and the resources needed to thrive, regardless of their background or circumstances. In high school, we have a focus on high quality instructional materials across content areas, post-secondary exploration, and post-secondary readiness. Next slide. Thank you. In alignment with our strategic goals, whole and healthy students, our high school teaching and learning priorities anchor us in our three pillars: excellence, equity, and evidence, all of which directly support our department's goals in literacy, mathematics, and post-secondary success, as well as on-time graduation. Our core work at the high school level is centered on ensuring continuous school improvement and preparing every student to transform our world. Our priority of excellence is to monitor and respond to learning. We are focusing this year on coaching collaborative school teacher teams. Our goal is that we will coach our school-based teams to use and act upon our formative evidence of student learning across our content areas to move more quickly to support our students in what they need to strive. Our goal around excellence is implementation integrity. This focuses on implementing our equitable grading practices year one shifts with integrity. We will implement our year one core shifts in high school grading practices with fidelity and provide support to all of our teachers. And lastly, our focus on equity is in supporting our striving readers and learners using Khan Academy, Reading Foundations, and our transition to algebra tier 2 courses in our high schools. We will strategically support our high school learners by effectively leveraging our student evidence and using it to inform small group instruction. Next slide, please. Our first priority focusing on excellence is around our shift in our grading practices this year. We are about 5 weeks into our first quarter, and so all of our high school teachers and leaders have gotten their feet wet in some new changes in how our grading system has been working. This year, our focus on implementation integrity, again, is this adoption of our equitable grading practices. And it's representing a crucial shift aimed at promoting equity and graduation by making grading more accurate, free from bias, and genuinely reflective of academic mastery. This practice will separate academics grades to 2 distinct reportings. One for academic achievement, which will report as their usual grade, and another for a communication or feedback on their habits of work, such as participation, timely completion, and goal setting. This clarity ensures that student outcomes are a reflection of their knowledge and skills, not compliance or non-academic factors. This also will help our teachers and leaders use our grade books as another source of data, as you will see in our next slide. Next slide, please. Thank you. Our commitment to standards-aligned curricula provides high-quality, rigorous instruction that empowers all students to reach their full potential. We will achieve this through curriculum fidelity and ensuring consistent, high-quality instruction of our Tier 1 core subjects, such as Springboard in our ELA, in our English courses in ELA. On the screen, you'll see a specific scenario. Our priority of coaching our collaborative teacher teams uses this example of a high school English team looking at their most recent gradebook data. So for example, 60% of their students have an IPF. IP means in progress. Those students are technically failing. However, their grade is in progress because they have evidence of learning, but they are not yet at mastery. This specific grade was given on argumentative essays. Most of them are struggling with citing evidence and analysis. They have strong performance on thesis statements. Therefore, some team questions that will inform next steps for instruction are what specific skills might need reteaching, what students need intensive supports, how can we adjust our instruction this week, and which SAT domain does this skill or standard connect to? Our gradebook evidence makes conversations more specific and actionable for our teacher teams at our schools. Next slide, please. Lastly, our goal around equity is in supporting our striving readers and learners. First, all of our students have access this year to Khan Academy, all of our high school students and teachers. Hold on one second. I just wanted to find my spot. I apologize. Khan Academy is our digital platform that empowers our students to learn at their own pace, both in and out of the classroom. This is a core component of Khan Academy that is the core component of Khan Academy is its mastery learning approach, which encourages students to build a strong foundation by mastering skills to support them in success in higher education and in careers. Research has shown that using Khan Academy can help close some learning gaps and lead to gains in student learning that surpass typical growth expectations. Our goal for all of our students is to use Khan Academy at least 30 minutes a week in a content area, specifically ELA and math. And there are many others that students can also tap into. And to level up or master 2 skills in each week. This is something that we can have our families and teachers promote with at-home usage, not just in school during the school day. Research has shown that 18 hours of usage in a specific content area on Khan Academy will yield 32% growth on the SAT. Students who consistently engage in meaningful usage are more likely to experience an increase in their score. So our goals are rigorous this year around our scholars in high school. We have we've set the bar high because we have great confidence and know our students can achieve great things. And so our goals around SATs this year and our focus on SATs is something that we are championing with all of our high school students, specifically with our 11th graders. So that's also something that our families at home can help all of our high school students in doing, is in celebrating and goal setting with our PSATs and SATs. Another piece in our high school that is strategically implementing our high leverage tier 2 support is one of our courses is Reading Foundations, 1 and 2. These are for students who are not yet meeting our grade level standards. The full year course is designed to raise the competence and confidence of students who struggle to read at grade level. Specifically, our students are using a new program this year in our Reading Foundations courses called STARI. STARI is a strategic adolescent reading intervention, and it's literature-focused, tier 2 intervention for students in grades 6 and up who read 2 or more years below grade level. STARI is built around some key research findings that adolescent struggling readers need to work on both basic reading skills and the skills that underlie deep comprehension, academic language, perspective taking, and critical thinking. Texts need to engage students with issues in their lives and in the world. And peer talk about text can develop reading engagement, perspective taking, and critical thinking. Using research-based practices and highly engaging texts, STARI addresses gaps in fluency, decoding, reading stamina, and comprehension, aiming to move these struggling students to higher levels of proficiency at the end of 1 year. STARI actively engages students in discussions of cognitively challenging content aligned to the Common Core and other 21st century skills. The STARI program is being implemented, has started to be implemented already, and is currently running in our Reading Foundations 1 and 2 courses. These courses run concurrently at the same time with our English 1 and 2 courses in most of our high schools this year. We are excited to continue to track progress of our students in our Reading Foundations course through our Tier 1 courses and assessments this year. In mathematics, our Tier 2 intervention in high school is our Transition to Algebra course. TTA is a full year course to support our curriculum that runs, again, concurrently with our Algebra 1 course. It is designed to raise, again, the competence and confidence of students who need support for algebra success, and focuses on building students' algebraic habits of mind, using data-driven small group instruction to address isolated prerequisite skills, so some from middle school, and also some that they are going to see, so pre-teaching what they should be seeing in their Algebra 1 courses, since, again, they will be taking them at the same time. Lastly, we are implementing more of the Desmos material into our TTA scope and sequence for our teachers and students to build more visual learning and different type of experiences for our students so that they're problem solving and learning through multimodalities. Next slide, please. Lastly, this just shows how this all fits together for continuous high school improvement. Our success in preparing our students is measured by ambitious growth targets this year, specifically for our PSATs and our SATs. We also have, beginning in our middle schools, we are excited to have our middle school students engaging in career exploration through our technical courses. This will help to provide a personal interest inventory as well as career readiness tools that will align their interests to their goals in high school and beyond. To meet our rising high school graduation rates and ensuring students are prepared for post-secondary opportunities, we have again undertaken our comprehensive high school program of studies revision. Our revision started last year. This is aligning our current catalog with the new framework for the modernized national career clusters. The process started last year, which focused on expanding flexibilities and options to our students for our career and technical education courses aligned to their interests and goals. We will continue to streamline our course catalog this year, reducing redundancies and aligning content so our teachers have more opportunities for collaboration and our students have more robust experiences in their career exploration endeavors. Lastly, one exciting piece that we are excited to expand upon is being in touch with our principal over at Weaver High School. Principal Tiffany Webley has confirmed that she would like to explore making the radio station at her school available to students through a new pathway. This is an exciting opportunity. The Teaching and Learning Department, in collaboration with Ms. Webley and her team, will be working on courses that align with this pathway. The students who were originally interested in working in the radio station have graduated, and so now we will need a new cohort of students. This is something very excited we are all interested in and will work collaboratively to make it happen for our students. So lastly, now this comes all together, how it fits all together for continuous improvement for all of our high schools. Our grading practices provide clear evidence of our student learning throughout all of our courses in all of our 11 high schools. Khan Academy and our Tier 2 courses provide personalized learning data and other supports that our teachers can use to give targeted support for our students, and our data teams use evidence to drive that instruction to meet the goals that we set for our kids. All of this is in service of our strategic plan and for the greater good of our community. So thank you, and I pass it over to Joanna Robles.
Thank you. Good evening. I am Joanna Robles, the Director of Multilingual Program. I've been in the education field for the last 29 years. The last 2.5 have been in Hartford, of which the last 1.5 years has been the director of the multilingual program. So I'm grateful to be here today, this evening, and to talk about and provide you a quick overview of the programs and service delivery models offered at Hartford Public Schools in support of our multilingual learners. Next slide, Maria. So the fundamental of the multilingual departments are to ensure all students achieve academic and linguistic success across content areas through equitable access to high quality teaching and learning, to graduate bilingual, biliterate, and culturally proficient lifelong learners through the development of college and career readiness and global literacy. In my department, in the Department of Multilingual Learners, we believe our students bring unique assets and talents and can achieve at high levels. And you're hearing that across the elementary and secondary and across our teaching and learning department. We also believe our students deserve multiple opportunities to develop bilingualism, biliteracy, and cross-cultural connections. We believe our students will be honored and recognized for their commitment to learning more than one language through the seal of biliteracy. We believe our students deserve access to high quality, equitable, grade appropriate curriculum and tier 1 instruction. And we believe educators must continually engage in and commit to ongoing professional learning grounded in a cycle of continuous improvement and dedicated to enhance teaching and learning. You will see how the fundamentals and beliefs are directly aligned to the district's strategic priorities and objectives. I now will go over how we start identifying our multilingual learners. The Connecticut Bilingual Statute requires bilingual education programs to be provided in schools that have 20 or more speakers of the same native language who are identified as multilingual learners. And that starts with the identification process, which I will go over. So for step 1, it starts at registration. Parents fill out a home language survey, which is completed at the registration. Parents only need to fill out this survey just once if their child has been registered already in a Connecticut school district. There are 3 questions that are included in the home language survey at the time of registration. The first question, what is the primary language used in the home? Second, what is the language most spoken by the student? And then the third question, what is the language the student first acquired? If one question or more than one question answers any other language than English, then the registration staff members notify the multilingual learner staff that a student who speaks a language other than English has registered. Then we go into step 4, which is testing. The multilingual learner staff conducts the last placement screener in English to determine identification as a multilingual learner. Then the results are notified to the parents or the families, and they notify them of the results and explain services offered at the school. Parents do have the option to opt out of the services. And finally, the student is placed in a selective program in one of our schools in Hartford. Next slide. So these are the options for our multilingual programs in Hartford Public Schools. We have programs and service delivery models from K through 12th grade. And you will see that for elementary and secondary, for the most part, they mirror each other, the programs. So we have the co-taught content classes for the elementary K-5. We also have that in the secondary, but in the secondary, we also have that additional program that we call Sheltered English using our Springboard curriculum. So for co-taught, a team of a certified content teacher and a bilingual or TESOL teacher work together to develop lessons effectively with scaffolded instructions tailored to meet the linguistics and academic needs of our multilingual students. In the sheltered English, which follows a co-teaching model, is taught at McDonough and Burr Middle School, which has our highest percentage of ML students, and at the 3 comprehensive high schools. They use the district-approved curriculum Springboard. Through this approach, the multilingual students have access to academic content and learn English at the same time. The next model, our service delivery that we offer, is the push-in service, and that grows across kindergarten through 12th grade. And this is where our multilingual teacher pushes in during Tier 1 instruction, providing linguistic and academic support in the classroom during a scheduled time. The next one is our pull-out services. And the pull-out services is only when the content teacher and the multilingual teacher work in collaboration to decide if this is necessary to pull out the students for these services. Primarily, what we really want to see is the push-in during the Tier 1 for our students. But we do offer that pull-out for those students that definitely need it. But again, that's a collaboration, a decision from our content teacher and our ML teacher. We also offer a dual language program at Dwight Belizzi. It is a 50-50 model program, Spanish and English. The program provides content and literacy instruction in both languages. Currently, the dual language program is from pre-K through 5th grade, but each year a grade will be added. So next year, 6th grade will be added, in the year after 7th, and then 8th. The emergent bilingual classes are in 5 schools for grades K, 1, and 2. This is a self-contained classroom that increases the English language allocation as students move from grade to grade. The overarching goal of both of these last 2 programs is to achieve proficiency in both languages. And if you can see on here, our emergent bilingual classes are in these 5 schools. And then our ESOL 1 and ESOL 2 courses are in McDonough, Burr, Hartford Public High, Buckley High School, and Weaver High School. This is just a quick overview of our emergent bilingual program. Again, it serves Spanish-speaking students identified as multilingual learners. It's a transition program in kindergarten through 2nd grade in those 5 schools that I just mentioned. It provides instruction in literacy and academic content areas through the medium of the student's first language, along with instruction on oral and academic language development in English. One group of students, if we are emergent bilingual, and that is our multilingual learners who are identified as their first language in Spanish. And our goal is proficiency in listening, speaking, reading, and writing in English through the development of literacy and academic skills in the native language. For our emergent bilingual program, as well as our dual language program, the American Reading Company was chosen as the curriculum for both of these programs. And it was one of the approved reading curriculum back in 2021 when Connecticut passed the Right to Read Act. And this program does offer the English and Spanish curriculum, and it's called a Transformative Literacy K through 12. It provides our students a high rigor curriculum that focuses on the foundational development as well as literacy development for our students. Heavy focus on research-based in all grades. And so what you see as well below is you see our language allocation for our K-2 emergent bilingual. So in kindergarten, you will see that they start with 80% Spanish and 20% English. For first grade, they transition to 60% Spanish, 40% English. And then for second grade is 40% Spanish and 60% English. And in second grade, we start bridging that biliteracy. So when our students do transfer to third grade, again, the purpose is to make sure that they have those literacy and academic skills, not only in their native language, but as well in the English language. For parents, for the American Reading Company, parents can support their children reading at home. Our platform does have the website that parents can use from home, that they can access the American Reading platform as well as the units the students are studying. They can utilize also the American Reading Bookstore. They have a digital bookstore, and in that digital bookstores, it's free for all parents, and it comes in both languages for students to read to their students at home as well. From school, we have the home practice cards, and in those home practice cards, those cards that have different levels. They have skills levels from phonics awareness. They have reading levels for our students, but each skill card has a different levels and where the students are, that they send those home alongside the take home book bags. Each week, students take home a book bag with a different book that students read at home as well. And students have the option in the emergent bilingual classrooms as well as the dual language to get both English and Spanish. Some of the units that we have, I just want to go over the units. For unit 1, in all our K1 and 2, as well as in the dual language, Unit 1 is about building a community of avid readers and writers. Unit 2 is informational reading, and it's writing research in one topic, which is science. We also have Unit 3, which is a literature reading focus, which focuses on reading and analysis of a literary genre. And then Unit 4 is on either argument writing or opinion, and it does use writing and research in one of the science or social studies topics. I want to just briefly talk about, for example, kindergarten. Kindergarten, they start with who wants to be a scientist? And during the read out loud, teacher read informational text about scientists. Students then, it promotes their critical thinking. Then at the very end of each of the unit, students can make a book individually or in class as a research paper of what they learned in that unit. Every unit has a project to demonstrate their learning. And so, for example, in kindergarten, they're studying zoology, ecology, and entomology in kindergarten. So those are very interesting units and topics for our kids. Mara, you want to go to the next one? Then the dual language program. Again, they use the American Reading Company because it does come in English and Spanish. And again, it was one of our choices from Read to Act. Again, taught by a bilingual certified teacher in Spanish, in the Spanish component. And then and the elementary certified teacher in the English component. Again, it's a 50-50 model. The content and literacy taught in 2 languages with the goal of bilingualism, biliteracy, and social cultural competence. 2 groups of students, and the strict separation of languages. And then there's a long-term commitment for our students to be fully developed in the biliteracy and bilingualism. The goal is to empower students to achieve proficiency in 2 languages, enriching their linguistic abilities and deepening their cultural understanding. Again, like our emergent bilingual, the homeschool connection, our parents do have access to the American Reading Home website. They can utilize the reading bookstores that is free, and it's online, and it does come in both languages. We do send home the home practice cards, what they're working in their classrooms, as well as the take home book bags on a weekly basis. What you see here is a sample of a kindergarten schedule, and you can see the 50-50 model where they have the 1 week in Spanish and the other week in English, and then the components of the literacy block, as well as their phonics and their math and social studies or science. But again, it is taught in 2 languages for our dual language program. At the high school, we have a standalone English to speakers of other languages 1 and 2. That is offered in our 3 comprehensive high school as a standalone class. English to speakers, or TESOL, is offered in all our high schools and all the programs, except that for these comprehensive high school, it is a standalone class, and it is an English credit that our students will receive. It serves newcomers, multilingual students with less than 20 months. The courses utilize national standards in the development of English skills with an intense focus on listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And the course focuses on literacy skills and academic language to further develop English language domains necessary for our academic success in English. Our goal for our English to speakers of other languages courses 1 and 2 is to create a more inclusive and equitable environment for multilingual learners, ultimately supporting their successes and ensuring they meet graduation requirements. And for this course, we use the LIFT curriculum, and the LIFT prepares multilingual teenagers with academic language and literacy skills to studies cross-curricular subjects. It is a structured approach to skill building with textual analysis that allows students for continued academic success in English. There's also a take action section in this curriculum, and that encourages our multilingual learners to take and have a service learning project and make a difference in their schools and in their communities, in the world, through what they are learning through LIFT. And so that is a way of also how parents can get involved, is helping students with that service learning project through the curriculum that we have here. And then it also focuses on academic speaking and writing. It practices in every lesson to prepare our multilingual learners to make valuable contributions in their classrooms and beyond. So our strategic priorities and objectives under the multilingual department tied to the teaching and learning is to improve the quality of academic services to multilingual learners. And we do that through a culturally responsive teaching, culturally relevant teaching practices and materials. As you heard, that is across elementary as well as secondary. Data-informed practices a cycle of continuous data-informed decision makings to assist our students in reaching their greatest levels academically. And then making sure that we are approaching our students as an asset-based approach, that recognizing and utilizing the linguistic and cultural strength of our multilingual students. And through all of this, the Hartford Public Schools strives to create an inclusive and equitable environment for multilingual learners by aiming at improving their academic experience and supporting their academic success. And as we are all interconnected, every single department, through the shared focus on the pedagogy, inclusion, and equity and success of all our students, including our multilingual students. So thank you for having us here today to present and talk about our teaching and learning department and how we are contributing and working together to make sure we are meeting the needs of every student, of every single student in Hartford Public Schools. Thank you.
So thank you, team. Thank you very much for your presentation and your update. And I know for the board and for those of you watching, I know that that was a lot of information, but I thought that it was important that we gave you sort of like the big picture overview of the department. And I know that some of the topics that we had discussed today, you'd probably want to dive deeper into. So depending on what those particular topics are, we can make that a future presentation at a future Teaching and Learning Committee meeting. So at this point, I will now open it up for questions.
Thank you so much for the presentation. That was very, very exciting, very innovative, very inspiring. I do have a question with regards to I would say with regards to the materials that are sent home for the dual language or the MLO program, if you will. It might be the English language learner program. The cards that are sent home or any materials that are sent home. Is there any type of parent education that's done so that parents at home maximize the use of those materials at home?
I apologize. You were breaking, so I really did not get your complete question, but I think it's in regards to materials sent home for students and to support
Yes.
parents as well.
Yes, I think, yes. Are there ways that
Yes.
parents, when they have those materials, there's a resource that the parents can have to know even how to use those materials?
Yes.
Did I capture that? Okay.
So yes, in the American Reading Company, there's a whole parent section, and it provides parents exactly what are some of the steps they can do at home to practice with their kids using those skill cards, as well as questions regarding those take-home books. And it also, in addition to the books that are online. So there's different things. For example, one of the things we have is a home coach contract. And that is just, you know, how to develop academic lifestyles at home. So for example, you know, turn off the TV, computers, games, and for 30 minutes, read with your child. So those things are sent home, and they are sent home exactly the way I'm reading it to you, just to help parents at home provide that opportunity for them and the child to connect around literacy.
So thank you so much for that. So what you're saying, just to be clear, so you're sending home a packet, or but my question is more, is there an opportunity where it's face-to-face, or there's some type of modeling that takes place for the parents? Because I appreciate, while I can appreciate that materials are sent home, a packet is sent home, it can be, modeling can really help, because the parents can, you know, parents may be working, parents may be a bit overwhelmed with, you know, daily functions, things like that. But my thing is, for those who really need that that guidance, if you will, because not every parent is, is a teacher or is in the field of education or even has the time. And it might not even be the parent who's working, who's at home with the child. It might be an older sibling, it might be a relative, or some other caregiver. So that's my question. And if that, and give me one more second. If that is not the case, I'd like to see, I'd like for us to think about that, think of being innovative and really giving the parents and caregivers what they need so that everyone can meet success. Because part of the whole child is the family, because it does take a village.
Thank you for lifting that. And I completely agree with you. So one of the things we've done in the past is that when the schools have their open house or activities, we do have a multilingual presentation around what is happening at the schools. One of them could be the curriculum, right, for American reading. And I know in those 5 schools, we have done that in the past, but you lifting it now has reminded me that we should intentionally plan moving this school year to make sure that that is also happening this school year, because this is our 3rd year of implementation, right? We were very focused our 1st year and our 2nd year, but this is our 3rd year. And as you lift that, I want to make sure that we're not losing the focus and that we're involving parents at schools as well at home with these practices. So yes, I am going to make sure that I reach out to the schools to make sure that during these open houses, as well as activities with parents, that we are also at the table to provide that to our parents as well.
Thank you. And
thank you for lifting that.
You're very welcome. And one more thing, and then I do see that we have some hands up. One more ask, if you will, would be if you have other programs that are, for example, with the reading, whether the students can be online at home, the 18 minutes a week or 18 minutes, things like that. If there can be some type, or if there is some type of incentive for them, so that oftentimes there has to be some type of extrinsic motivation in the beginning, so it could turn into that intrinsic motivation. But if there's some type of incentive, so it can be like, okay, if I read for 30 minutes, but one of my peers read for 40 minutes, there's definitely that incentive. And are you tracking that?
We are tracking it through classrooms, right? Each individual classroom, my coaches are tracking that. And to your point, there are classrooms that do give incentives, others that don't. But to your point, students do better when there are incentives. So I definitely want to bring that up to my coaches as well as my teachers to make sure that that's also tied to the practice of those 18 minutes and what's happening at school, to also tighten that homeschool connection as well.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I'm
Thank
sorry, I
you.
have one more question. And,
Go right
and then
ahead.
I'm gonna pass it
No,
on.
you're good.
So
you are good.
The other question that I have is with regards to the radio station that's going to be that's at Weaver, that's going to be utilized for a pathway or with the students. Will that only be open to Weaver High School students, or would other students from other schools, other Hartford Public Schools, be able to perhaps access that or take advantage of that? And what is that going to look like?
And I think that's a great question. I think there are some logistical pieces we would still have to resolve. I would say we'll have to look at how all of our current pathways work, and especially since this is something that we think there will be some large student interest in. We'll just have to figure out the logistics, right? If this is something that a child wants to participate in, what are the options? So I think there are a few more. There's still some planning that has to be done before we can fully respond to that question.
Okay, thank you so much. And I see Chairperson Brody's hand is up. Chairperson Brody, you have the floor.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation. I hope I'm heard well.
Yes.
So that was a lot, but it was a lot of good stuff. One thing I'm happy, when Eureka Math was brought up, many moons ago, the district, when we weren't like with one math curriculum, I had the opportunity to sit on a math textbook committee, where all the publishers came and presented over the course of weeks. I think it was a lot, like a process. And one of the textbooks that stuck out to me was Eureka. Reasons is because of and I hope they still have it. It's like a home connection that they had with it. So it connected the families to the lessons. So that was absolutely attractive, and I'm hoping that's still a part of what they do. That stood out to me, and that was my vote. And I'm talking 15 plus years ago, and I never forgot that. So yay for Eureka. As far as, because I had a few things, because we talked about a lot. So what I am hoping, and I'll ask our superintendent, I don't think I'm overreaching, but I got trained as a facilitator years ago from the Hartford Foundation. And I still have some of the materials, because what was said today, it matches that. So I was trying to invite everybody, have these sessions in the community. I wasn't like, we have a greater opportunity because we have the families, right? Because if you're able to make sure that families understand everything they do anyway can benefit children, because I heard the folding the socks, like is a piece of the training that is when they're at the laundromat, when you're in a grocery store. I mean, colors and is because, so if we make it like it's not an extra thing, because you're doing these things anyway. So I'm hoping that we could get to a space where, because I know we get Title I funds to engage families district-wide, as schools do, and I was planning on talking about it more in the family and community engagement meeting, but it is so many opportunities that we can't even imagine that families can make this learning thing like so natural and so a part of their everyday life. And that is like, I really want us to do it and do it well, because it will just be a part of what they do. So that's one thing I'm hoping that someone can reach out to me on, because I think we're missing it a little bit, that we could do more, and it's not that hard. So that I just wanted to plug that in. And other thing I wanted to mention was, when we talk about the high school experience, I don't know if anyone here can speak to the exit ticket thing. We have just how it's weighed in on grading, how it's the proper amount of time that needs to be given for it. If we have students who are not great test takers, how that can be difficult, that every time you're leaving your class and you have this exit ticket and you don't have enough time, it can just be intimidating. And how is even weighed in into your classwork, right? If I don't do well on an exit ticket, but I've done all this great work in this 90-minute class, it's like, what about all the work I did? So I want our community to be able to understand that part. So I'm hoping, I don't know if anyone can speak to the exit ticket thing. I have a high school student, and I'm trying to really
I hear
understand
you.
it.
I hear you, Miss Brody. It's all very confusing. I understand you completely. It's been a lot. It's not all confusing. It's just it's a big undertaking. And so one of the pieces that Miss Brody's talking about is an exit ticket. Not I don't know if everybody knows what an exit ticket is. It's kind of just a little check for understanding, like a quick question at the end of a lesson to see if students got the intended purpose of the lesson that day. Yes or no. That's the general gist of it. Exit tickets can be used in a variety of different ways. And so the way that it's fitting into our grading shifts for this year, if I'm hearing correctly, is that some teachers might choose to include an exit ticket as part of their formative assessment bucket. There are two categories only now, really, that teachers have in their grade books, where before they sort of were able, they had many different categories, all different weights. We've seen at the grading committee that's why we're doing this, to have a little more consistency across our high schools, right? So in the two buckets, our formative pieces are those like daily things that we have to understand how students are doing along the way. The formative bucket is worth 30%. So the other bucket, that's that summative, like tests, projects, big pieces of learning, that's the part that's worth 70% on purpose, because the little pieces of learning should all lead up to that big bucket of learning. So I say that because we don't want teachers to be stifled with what they are choosing to discern what goes into their grade book. We want them to be able to have that agency to choose what is meaningful in their courses, that gives them the evidence and the knowledge around how students are doing and progressing. We are asking for a minimum of 10 pieces of evidence per quarter by teacher. So that we have enough evidence, enough pieces of grades to constitute a grade, right? So if it's below that, a student would likely get a no, not enough evidence. We don't have enough evidence to grade you on a body of work body of knowledge that you've produced. So I think that it's right now we're still in the learning phase of getting our feet wet, understanding what those meaningful pieces of evidence is. Because at the end of the day, we don't want a teacher or a student having every single thing graded. That's not the purpose of grades. If we go back to our purpose of our grading purpose statement, it's really that we want our grades to be a communication of feedback of how students are doing. And so if everything is graded, it loses its meaning over time, right? So that's part of the learning, I think, for our teachers, our leaders, and our students to kind of reimagine and re-understand what the purpose of grades are. Is that exit ticket really meaningful? We might have an exit ticket in the grade book because it's really important. It's on this specific standard that I really want kids I want to know how they're doing. So that would be an appropriate thing. But again, I think that it's going to be a process this year on figuring out what goes in there, what doesn't. But it's all coming together, and it's going to get us to where we want to go. That's a little bit of an answer. I can talk more about that, but I don't want to keep going. Go ahead, Dr. Sacchi.
And I just wanted to kind of touch on one other thing that Chair Brody brought up was the partnership with parents. I know that through Janelle Hooker's department, I know that there have been events that have been done. I remember a Saturday I was going and presenting to parents. So I think we're going to continue to look for opportunities where we can come out into the community and present information to parents. I like the whole idea of modeling, being able to model for a parent in terms of, that's practice that we even use now with our administrators and our teachers, right? So being able to model for a parent as to here's the best way of doing this particular project with your child, or here's the thing, just giving parents just additional information and additional tools to help them better support their children.
Thank you, and I'm looking forward to this exit ticket thing. I've been dealing with it since last school year, and it is a thing, and that's all I will say. So looking forward to actual, like when a student shows their work, that's held in very high regard versus, or not even versus, it could be in conjunction with just the last 7 minutes of class versus the 90 minutes of displayed work. So I'm looking forward to developing that. That's all I have for now. Thank you everyone for all this great information.
Thank you, Board Chair Brody. And I see that Board Member Wilson has his hand up. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Team, thank you for the presentation. A lot of information. I hope we can get a copy of that presentation. It'll take some time to digest. I appreciate that. Can everyone hear me? Make sure I'm not on mute.
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. So I'm glad to hear that Weaver will be Weaver students will have access to the radio station. That radio station has been in this city since 79 and is coming up quickly on its 50th anniversary. And that radio station's programming has always involved the teaching of the students. So I'm very glad to hear that is going to get back on track. But a quick question. That tract was built out into a more robust, or was supposed to be built out into a more robust journalism and media program. Weaver, once upon a time, split up into 3 schools: Culinary, High School Inc., and Journalism and Media. And that radio station piece was just one leg of that journalism and media program. Unfortunately, while the school was on Tower Avenue, the program wasn't fully built out the way it needed to be. I know there was some issue with some equipment, so there was a special attention paid to the school being once back in Weaver for that curriculum to sort of be built out, encompassing the radio station, but also dealing with other media avenues. And I know last year when talking to some people here at the district, there was an idea around, there was some meetings around with students on how to revamp that media program. So I'm just wondering if you have any insight into that or any plans moving forward. I understand that it may involve the radio station, but as an entire curriculum, I'd appreciate your thoughts on that.
Yeah, and I'll say that we are pretty early, for lack of a better term, early in the game with this. I know that there have been conversations had with not only the principal who is on board, but with also our curriculum department that actually helps us in terms of the CTEs. So we want to make sure that the course that we are creating, students can actually get the credits for the course, right? So I think there's still some curriculum design that still has to happen. There's still some CTE course creation that has to happen. So I think we're on the right track, but we're a little bit early in the game. So I think that there's still a few more steps. And, and I think having the students as part of that conversation, I think that's always powerful. I think, that the student voice is an important and critical piece. So I think even as part of that design, ensuring that we have our student voice as part of that. So I think, again, I think it's something that we are committed to do, but I think we're now in the stage of ensuring that we can design a course that meets all the requirements so that our students are actually gain some form of credit and hopefully some form of certification, depending on how this program is designed. I hope that gave you a little bit of information, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. I think the conversation and through no fault of anyone's, the conversation is long overdue. It was a conversation that was started prior to Weaver as a school. Prior to the redesign or as a part of the redesign of Weaver. It was a part of that. There's equipment, television equipment, radio equipment, computers, media equipment that was purchased for that purpose, that belongs to that high school. So I just want to make sure that we are, that stuff isn't just sitting around collecting dust, that our students are having full utilization of it, with the purpose of, I do want to see a program that has, where kids can get some credits towards it. But I also would like, in the meantime, for those kids to have use, whether through clubs, whether through just some programs that the school and the district puts together for the kids to learn. Maybe they don't get certified, but they still learn a skill, and they have an extracurricular activity that they can involve themselves in. So I'd like to see that at least prior, something that we work towards to benefit the students.
And and Mr. Wilson, I'm glad you brought that up. I did also have an opportunity to visit Weaver and see the studio that was built. I mean, it's incredible. It's just, state of the art, in terms of the not just the radio station, but even the filming and TV. So, and I know with continued conversations with Principal Webley, I mean, the hope is that, whether it's, to your point, whether it's through a club, but I would defer to the principal, but I think there's still a lot more conversation that has to be had. But to your point, hopefully we can start something this year, even if it's not to the point of a course. But the good news is that she is in favor of the course piece. So I think being able to do both would be great. But that's a conversation that we will continue to have. But thank you for raising that.
Appreciate it. And just one last thing, I think you will find that there are a lot of community members who have experience with that radio station, current personalities that are on that radio station that would be more than happy to assist in any mentoring when it comes to the programming. So
that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Board Member Wilson. And we have Tatum. His hand. Yes, your hand is still up. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Darrell Ledger, and I'm mindful of the time. Thank you all for hanging on. I have two more so comments than questions, and maybe one is partly a request. First, on the topic of the changing grading practices in the high school, I very much sympathize with all sides of the challenge of transitioning those practices, as Chair Brody alluded to earlier. On the student side, how like navigating some of these changes can be stressful and confusing, and on the teacher side, the sort of many layers of what it means to transition to the kind of grading practice that we're talking about, where is an exit slip that you're giving in the last 7 minutes of class, like, how can we make sure that that's a formative assessment of your actual ability versus like there's a habits of work element to that too. Can you quickly reproduce an answer? And sometimes it's hard to tease out the differences between proficiency and habits of work. And that's just one example. So lots of things to consider there. And I'm glad that as a district, we're kind of going for it and not waiting for everything to be perfect with it, because we could wait forever for that. It's good to have some adjustment period. I do hope, though, that especially as we near the end of the first quarter, that we're mindful of the time that teachers will need to really step back and assess their grade books and make sure that in this new transition, there aren't any real like unfair or unintended consequences. For example, how these new weights are going to affect a student's grade. It's going to take a lot more time for teachers to see, like, do these grades accurately reflect what I know that my students are able to do, like just based on the feel. So I think that'll take time and make any adjustments that need to be made. So just would encourage the team as we near the end of that first quarter to build in some time for teachers to really carefully see if their gradebook is doing what they want it to be doing and what we as a district want it to be doing as they're learning how to exist in this new environment. So that's the first thing. The second thing is more of a general comment about like this type of presentation. I really applaud the level of like detailed thought and strategic thinking and planning that's going in at all levels of the department, all levels of the system in each of your sub departments, I guess. I found like I heard a lot of references to in alignment with our strategic plan, and I know that some conversations back in the spring got tabled to future meetings that we haven't circled back to about that new strategic plan that we adopted. I've heard reference to some work that had been done internally to kind of flesh out what some of the particular objectives would be under our strategic goals. And I think that one thing that would really help bridge the kind of professional world of teaching and learning to the community would be to have clearer connections with the strategic plan as we adopted last spring, so that everyone can kind of see in everyday terms like how this work is aligned. I was just searching on the website and I didn't find our current strategic operating plan. So I would love to, see, and I know too that, transitioning in Dr. Townsend as the new superintendent, like has its own element to the shifting priorities and goals and things. But I guess I would just ask that as in future, and I'm not sure who the ask is of, but that we look at that strategic operating plan and in presentations, like try to align to the goals of that new plan so that we can all get more familiar with that language. Because I think that there was so much community engagement that happened in that process that those are terms that our families and our community really can grab onto. And like you can see the connection more easily to what the specific goals are for our literacy instruction in the elementary schools, if you can kind of see that line up the scale more specifically. That's just my thought. And yeah, that's all. Thank you again for the work that you're doing and your dedication to our staff and our students, of course.
And thank you, Mr. Tatum. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Board Member Tatum, and thank you, everyone. I apologize for us running overtime. However, this was great information and it was necessary. And I'm very excited that we're going to be moving forward with the different curriculums, and I'm excited about what's to come down the pipe. So that being said, thank you for attending this Teaching and Learning Committee meeting, and our meeting is adjourned. Everyone have a wonderful evening.
Thank you for having